Hello everyone, welcome to our video tutorial about creating queries. In today's video tutorial, we are going to learn how we can create a query from the query design. So to follow this tutorial, you are still going to open the database we called workers wage database. Then you will have this kind of screen displayed for you. And if you have not been following these tutorials, then you can start from the first tutorial and keep on watching as you learn more. So just like we said in our previous tutorials, a query is just like a question that you ask the database. So you're asking the database of the information stored there. So when you want to create a query, you still go to the Create tab. So when you click on the Create tab, then we shall use this group of others. That's where we see the query wizard and the query design. So we are going to start by learning how we can create a blank query using this query design. So we shall click on it so that it opens. So when you click on the query design, this is how the query design is displayed for you. So this command of the query design, when you click to create a query, it will open for you the query or an empty query in a design view. And how do I know that this is a design view? So when you move at the bottom right corner, you will see that the active button is this one of the query design. So that's how we know that it is opened in the query design. Then it opens for you this show table dialog box. It is from this show table dialog box that we shall now go ahead and put which table we would like to work with. If you want to work with the query, then you select the query, but at the moment we do not have the queries in our tutorial. So if you want both table and the query, then you click on both option. Then we shall go back now to our tables because we want to create our query using this table tab. So that's why we shall select on the tables. So when you have the tables, very many created in a database, then all those tables are displayed in this field where we see November. So since in our database we have only one table which is named November, that's why we see only November in this area. However, before you start your query or to create a query, there is need for you to know which kind of results you want to display, that is after you have run the query. And also you have to know where the information is stored. Is that information stored in tables or is it stored in the queries? So you have to be in position to specify. If the information is stored in the tables, then you select the table tab so that you access the tables in a given database like this one of the workers wage. So after selecting the table, you also have to know which condition you want the data to meet. You may want to get a specific information from that table. So you have also to go ahead and specify the condition. And that condition is what we call the criteria, as we can see from this area. So now to add a table, because we cannot go ahead and create a query without specifying whether we want to extract that information from the table or from the query. Like I said before, we want to use the table. So to add this table and we go ahead with creating our query, we shall leave this tab selected. Then If there were many tables, then we would go ahead and select the table we want by clicking. Now from there, you come and click on Add button. When you click on the Add button, there is a feature that is added on our screen. So this feature displays for us the table we are working with and its fields. Now we cannot view all the fields because this Show Table dialog box is still displayed for us. And when you click to add, besides this feature, we also see there is a query 1 tab created. So this means that we are going to create our query using this table. So after adding the table, you now click to close this Show Table dialog box. So when you close, we can now have again a different screen or ribbon opened for us, and it is also in the design view, just like I told you. So if you want to see whether this is the real design view for the query, you can still go to view option, and you'll see the last option below here is the one which is active. So that's how this query opens. Then now after we have seen this screen, we need now, before going ahead with creating our query, we need to first of all learn a few features and their functions on this query. So let's start by looking at the function of this option field. This option field means that you can now go ahead and select the fields that are contained in a table named November. For instance, if we can click on it, then we shall see a number of fields that are contained in this table. So if we cannot view all the fields just like we are seeing below here, then we shall move our pointer, click to that extreme edge, hold, then move to enlarge this box. So we can have a view of all the fields contained in a table named November. Then below here where we see table, once this field is selected, let's select one for ID number. So when you select for ID number, then the name of the table will be displayed. Like we see here, November, it indicates that the field ID number is in a table known as November. So you will have the table name displayed whenever you select a field. Then another option is this option where we are seeing the criteria. The criteria is just the condition that you want the query or the data to meet. Assuming you want to extract some information from this table, then you have to go ahead and specify the criteria you want or the condition you want met during the process of running or creating the query. So this criteria, if met, then the information will be displayed depending on the condition that you have specified in the different fields in the criteria fields. Let's now have a look at the design tab features. Now from the design tab features, if you want to view or to have a view of the different views of this query, you can just use this view option. So in this tutorial, we shall focus on the datasheet view and then the design view. So you can switch between the design view and the datasheet view using this option. Then where we see run. Run is an option that enables you now to carry on the action. That is after you have specified the criteria you want your query or the data to meet. In this tutorial, we are going to work with one type of query which is known as the select query, which is found under the query type. So I'm just clicking so that we remove this display. So this select query type helps you to extract and display data based on the criteria provided. So since in this tutorial we want to be seeing how we can use the query to extract the information we want, so that means to extract the information we have to use this option for select query. Then these are also other action types of queries that you can use. However, we shall focus on this type of query we have called the select query option. So while working with the query, just like I said before, you have to first of all specify which kind of information or results you want to display. That means that you have to work with the different fields. Then we said that you have to know where that information is stored. So before you know where the information is stored, you have to ensure that the fields are selected just below here. And to select the field, we saw our first selection. So we want to select the remaining fields. To do that, we shall just go to the next field, click, then you select first name, then we go to the next, we select last name, then we go to the next and we select district, then we select date of birth, then we have wage total, we have already paid, we have cleared, and then we have payee. So if the fields are still continuing, then you can use this horizontal scroll bar. So when you click, you will see that you will still access the options here. To go back, you just use this one and you are taken back. So we are through with adding the field names. So like I said, when you add the field name, then the table name will automatically be displayed for you, as we can see below there. Now, when you're done with inserting the field names, then you have now to specify or to put the condition that you want the data to meet, so that the query can go ahead and select that data and then display for you that data, but basing on the criteria that you have put. So that means that if we want to extract some information from this field named district, then we shall go just below district, we click, but you have to ensure that this cursor is inserted just in this line of the criteria, because you are now going to put the condition. Then you have now to specify which kind of information do you want to extract from this field for district. Let's assume I want to get information about those individuals who are coming from a patch. So in this field, we shall type there a patch. So we type a patch. Then after typing, you can decide to put this in quotation, or you can leave it like that, or you can even decide to use an equal sign, then you say a patch. So after doing that, you go ahead and you perform the action by clicking on this run button. So when you point at it, it shows to you that performs the action specified in the query. So the action is this one. We want to extract individuals coming from a patch. So we say yes, you perform the action. We click on it. So when we click, then we go under district. You can see that the query has extracted only information from a patch, and it has displayed the information for us. So that's how you can create a query. The condition was we need only individuals from a patch. So we specified the condition under the criteria. Then we decided to perform the action, and after performing the action, we can see that these are the individuals coming from this district called a patch. So if we can go back to the design view, we click, then we go to design view. So when you look below here where we had said equal sign a patch, now there are some quotations added there, so that is automatically added by this program. So if we don't want it in this form, we can decide to delete this equal sign. Let's assume we want to extract information of only those coming from Kasese. So we shall delete all this information, and this time let's just type Kasese. So we type Kasese. After typing, we shall not do anything, but we shall go and perform the action by clicking on this run button. So when we click on the run button and we go under district, we can see only individuals from Kasese have been extracted, as we can see from the screen. So that's how we can create a query basing on a given criteria. Now you have created your query, and you now need to give this query a name. So to give this query a name, then you have to go ahead and use this query tab or use the quick access toolbar. So when we click on it, it will display for us the save as dialog box where we are supposed to specify the query name. So the query name, we are going to call it Kasese. After, then we click on OK. So when we click on OK and we look at the query tab, we can see we have the query named Kasese, and its information is displayed for us. To close the query, there are two options. You can either use this query tab and you click on the close option. So when you click on it, then the query is closed. But when you go to this navigation pane, you will see the query there. And to open the query, you can either double click on it or click to select, then right click and open your query. So when you click to open, this is a query opened for you in a datasheet view, and you can see that from the status bar. So that's how we can open our query. If you don't use the query tab, then you can use this close button on the tab area. So when you click on it, the query is closed. If you want to delete this query, then you go to the query, select it, then right click and use this option for delete. So when you click on it, then you delete the query plus its information. So since we don't want to delete it, we shall just click aside. And likewise, if you want to rename the query, still go to that query, right click, then use this option for rename. So when you click on rename, the query gets highlighted with a blue background, implying that you can now go ahead and change the name of your query. But we want the name of our query to remain as Kasese. So I will just leave it like that. Then I click inside our navigation pane. So hope you found this video tutorial useful to you. That's it for now. See you in our next tutorial.